Haribol, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminita Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are continuing with the reading of the light of the Bhagavad. Text 2, the scorching heat of the sun evaporates water from the seas, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, and there is little water anywhere. The people become thirsty and always look overhead for rain, but in despair. Yet, just at the right moment, torrents of rain begin to fall everywhere in the land, even on the hard stones, and the land becomes over-flooded. Jai Ho. Hare Krishna. Can I ask Priya to read it?
The welfare state imposes upon the citizens scorching taxes in various forms: income tax, sales tax, land tax, terminal tax, excise tax, customs tax, and so many other taxes. But in due course, when the taxes accumulate into a large sum of money, they are utilized for the welfare of the citizens in various ways. Nonetheless, sometimes it happens that the benefits of the taxes fall like rains in stone-hearted men in the state who are unable to utilize the money properly and who squander it for sense gratification. The common man supposes the unequal distribution of rain to represent nature's wrath for our sinful acts. There is truth in this. Thus, to have an equal distribution of state-raised taxes, the citizens need to be scrupulously honest and virtuous. They should be honest in the payment of taxes to the state and should have honest representatives to look over the administration. In the modern setup of democratic states, the citizens can have no cause for grievances because the whole administration is conducted by the people themselves. If the people themselves are dishonest, the administrative machinery must be corrupt. Although a damned government of the people may be given a good or fancy name, if the people are not good, they cannot have good government, regardless of which party governs the administration. Therefore, good character in the consciousness of the mass of people is the first principle necessary for a good government and equal distribution of wealth. In ancient days, the kings were taught lessons in political philosophy by ideal teachers, and the citizens from village to village were taught the principles of self-realization according to the Vedic codes for both the material and the spiritual upliftment of society. Therefore, the citizens were God conscious and honest in their dealings, and the kings were responsible for the welfare of the state. The same basic principles are accepted in the democratic government of the present day, for the irresponsible party of the people is always voted out of power and must yield to be responsible party for a better government. In the cosmic administration, there is only one party which consists of the servants of God and the responsible deities of the various planets maintain the cosmic laws in terms of the orders of the Supreme Lord. But the people suffer on account of their own folly. And what is that folly? In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that people should perform yajnas or sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. The Supreme is all pervading. Therefore, people must learn to perform yajnas to satisfy the all pervading Supreme Truth. There are different yajnas prescribed for different ages, and in the present age of iron industry, the yajna that enlightens the mind of the masses for God consciousness is recommended. This process of yajna is called the Sankirtana yajna or mass agitation for invoking man's lost spiritual consciousness. As soon as this moment is taken up through spiritual singing, dancing, and feasting, the people will automatically become obedient and honest. Obedience is the first law of discipline. The people have become disobedient to the laws of God, and therefore neither rain nor earth are equally distributed. A man who is ultimately disobedient cannot have any good qualifications. When disobedient leaders lead the disobedient people, the whole atmosphere of the administration becomes polluted and full of dangers, as when a blind man leads several other blind men. The state taxes, therefore, should be spent to build the character of the people in general. That will bring happiness to the citizens of the state. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
And a beautiful purport. The scorching heat of the sun evaporates water from the seas, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, and there is little water everywhere. The people become thirsty and always look overhead for rain, but in despair. Yet, just at the right moment, torrents of rain begin to fall everywhere in the land, even on the hard stones, and the land becomes overflooded. Just that, I thought that is so graphic, what is being mentioned here. Be interesting for us to actually graphically put it together. Suppose you see, I am able to tell you that these are the clouds. Let's say these are the clouds. You know, clouds. These are clouds. And the clouds here are actually the treasury. And there is a king. Let me draw the king in the form of king means, let's say the king is here with his crown. This is the king. Maybe this is better. Here we have the king sitting on the treasury, or you want in modern times, you want to call it the government. Okay. Now what they do, which these guys do a lot, is to collect taxes from the citizens. They're collecting taxes. Right? They go and they have collectors who go and harass people and get all the money. Now, what is mentioned here, the analogy of the, what's it? Analogy of the rain and the clouds is being used for what purpose? The king is supposed to collect these taxes, which he does very actively. Most of them will, collecting money, they are very good at it. And they are supposed to actually rain down the taxes that they collect should come back down. As it's mentioned, the analogy mentioned here is rains. Okay? It comes down as rains to all the citizens. Let me say, let's put the citizens, citizens. Okay. This word is mentioned here as the tax chakra, the cycle. Krishna speaks about this in the Bhagavad Gita also, but he speaks about it in a different way. Now, for the rains to come, Krishna says that you need, what do you need for the rains to come, according to Bhagavad Gita?
Yajna.
Very good. Yes. Parjanyat yajna sambhavaha, yajnat bhavati parjanyo, yajna karma samudbhava. So for the rains to come, actually, there is another cycle that is going. Rains are coming for you from yajna. Where is yajna coming from? From the Vedas. And the Vedas is coming from God, Krishna. Right? So there is another cycle that's mentioned there. And yajna you perform, Sankirtana yajna you perform in Kali Yuga. Right? Rains will come. It's a very simple thing to do. But these guys will not listen to it. They'll say secular government. We don't. But kings knew that by performing this, I will be actually doing my dharma as a Raja Rishi. I am a devotee. I depend on God. I want all the people to depend on God. I want all of them to benefit. It's my duty to make them God conscious. This duty he very highly values. And he's very afraid. Because for the king, it says that these guys don't know. They are all sitting for election and getting voted, and they think it's all about that only. If they knew 1/6 of the karma of the citizens, these citizens, 1/6 of the karma of the citizens is taken by the king. And for a huge population like, say, India, the population of India is 1.4 billion. Is the population of India. Imagine he's taking 1/6 of 1.4 billion population. Each one of their karma, 1/6 is taking. He'll be squashed, finished. He doesn't know about it. These people don't know. These democratic people, so-called secular governments and all that, they don't know. But this is the law. So he knows that his job is very heavy. It's a responsible job. The best way that he does not take this karma is to educate everybody in Krishna consciousness, make them understand, make them follow at least Varnashrama Dharma, make them understand mukti is most important. And dharma, artha, kama, moksha, you must be dharmic, you must aim at mukti. You can have in between a little kama satisfied, but not too much, don't become an animal. So he rules and makes them follow Krishna consciousness. And then he collects these taxes. He's very sharp at that collecting of these taxes. And what does he do? He spends the taxes back and gives them facilities and everything for the sake of them to become Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada is saying here, it's about education. It's about culture. One, education. What else does Prabhupada say? Education and culture mainly. It is your duty to educate people. And what education? Not about artificial intelligence, not about maths, physics, chemistry, geography, computer science. It's actually, education means knowing who are you, who is God, what is this world about, where am I, who am I? Everything is understood by them very nicely, right? So this I call the tax chakra. Tax chakra, that is, he collects the taxes. He's collecting the taxes from the citizens. That is, he brings the taxes here from the citizens. and then he gives it back to the citizens, right? And the citizens are the ones that are actually doing the cultivation and all those things together. And most of the taxes means like, grains and things like that. So this is a chakra. Let me call it the tax chakra. The tax chakra. So taxes collected by the king, given back to the citizens in the form of rains, given back to the citizens in the form of education and culture, protection for them. There'll be army, there'll be all sorts of setups so that you peacefully practice your Krishna consciousness. They go to the temple, they go to the Patishala as youngsters, they learn philosophy, they learn religious things, they learn how to earn for themselves something by, in some way, as a Brahmana, as a Kshatriya, as a Shudra, as a Vaishya, whatever they do, they will learn all those things. But all of them are commonly educated side by side on spiritual life, apart from other things. That comment is made by Prabhupada here. You will see that. All of them are educated properly. So, this is what the king is supposed to do. The king or the government or the persons ruling are supposed to give back whatever they collect. Not meant for their sense gratification, their enjoyment and everything. It is actually meant for doing something for the people. This main principle in governance should be understood. And mainly, what will you do for people? Today, they'll collect taxes and build roads, bridges, supermarkets, and, this, everything for them, so that their material life is good. Fine. Fine. But all these facilities you must also give, plus you must give them the facility to get educated. That is why there are Brahmanas, they give free education. The government gives free education, no charging you any money. And there are temples, they are actually centers of education. There you go and learn the culture of Krishna consciousness, how to respect my elders, the guru, the person who is teaching you, how to respect my parents, how to respect the king, how to respect other elders. Deva Dvija Gurur Prajna Pujanam. It's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Worship the Supreme Lord, respect him. Dvija, the Brahmanas, Guru, Deva Dvija Gurur Prajna means intelligent people, elderly people who contribute to you and your growth in life. To all of them, you must give respect. How to do that? This is culture. Culture means culturing yourself, polishing yourself, shining yourself with knowledge, with proper action, so that you come to know that I am spirit, soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Godhead, Krishna. Now, this is what is a system put in place by Krishna. This is Bhagavatam that we are reading. Bhagavad Gita also, this is mentioned. Now take today's scene. In today's scene, what will you see? You will see India is a secular republic. In the constitution, it's mentioned. This secularism came from where? Secularism is actually coming from the Christian religion. The word came from there because they had a big history. And in that history, at one point of time, faith of the people in the church declined. Church was ruling, government and the church together same. What the holy man says, that is followed for everybody. God's laws are what everybody follows. So there are do's and don'ts and everything like this. But over a period of time, you will see that somewhere in the a few hundred years back, somewhere in the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries and all that, you will see there was a lot of confusion between thinkers, scientists, philosophers, and what the church was saying. And then from there onward, slowly, the intelligent people, although they were religious, they split away from the church and said, you guys are so power corrupt and you won't, allow us to even tell the truth. And there was a lot of commotion. There was a huge corruption in the Christian church. Then they split because of corruption. First came the Roman Catholics. Jesus Christ, Jews coming from Jacob, and the Abraham split into Ismail. He had sons from where the Muslims came. If you see Ismail, Abrahamic religions, they're Christians and Muslims, right? You have his son Ismail sent off to the desert. From there came the Muslim denomination and religion. And then from Jacob came the Jews. And from the Jews, is one called Christ, Jesus Christ. And then from Jesus Christ came the whole descendants. Christ and what he taught disappeared for a few hundred years, 300, 400 years. Then it came back in the form of Roman Catholicism. The Romans themselves adopted this religion. Then came a big confusion of corruption and this and that. And there it spread into Protestant religion. You have the other denomination called Protestant. And then you have the Catholic. And there you have the Pope. You can see today the Pope. And under the Pope came a lot of other, Jacobites, Seventh-day Adventists. And today you have Jehovah's. You have that, Syrian Christian. There's so many different denominations. This is how the Christian religion said, we are already breaking up, already Protestant religion and all these things. Because and here came all that other Lutheran church, Martin Luther, Lutheran church, and then the Calvin church, all these things, denominations. So all this breakup and all happened. So the Pope and the Roman Catholics decided to keep them all together, to be tolerant. And that's how they said, be secular. Tolerate all these different people. So this is where secularism came about. This secularism means tolerating all these different denominations and keeping them together. Right? And at the same time, British were ruling in India. Somewhere along this time, they were ruling in India too. And in India, from there came this whole idea of Britishers being tolerant with Indian Hindus and Muslims and everything. They wanted to be tolerant because there was an uprising, even amongst English people in the UK. They said, you're torturing them, you're doing this, So they became tolerant, and that's how they said, we'll become a little tolerant. We'll become more secular, like is happening in the church. And this way, secularism came inside. And when the British partitioned India, Pakistan, and all that, secularism became very common by then. And then India was advised, and Jawaharlal Nehru and all that called first secular India. Means, what does it mean? Same type of treatment for all religions. We are not only one type of religion. In this way, even in India, state and religion separated. Before the Britishers came and before the Mughals came, in India it was all kings ruling, and the kings were Naradeva, representations of the Supreme Lord. This is how they were understood to be. And they were respected. And the king looked after his citizens. Of course, slowly, Kali Yuga, kings became corrupt, the Brahmins fell down, and there's a big confusion. And so everything put together, people started blaming religion. All over the Western world, they had this problem with Christianity and Islam already. And then they thought this secular word came from the West, actually. And in this way, in India also, there was a little problem with Brahmins and corruption and everything. So secularism crept inside India also. And you will see in the constitution, India is a secular republic. If you see statistics, actually, Today's statistics will tell you that actually Hinduism, or so-called professed Hinduism, is the largest religion in India. In 2011, the census will tell you that 966.3 million people identify themselves as Hindus in India. I told you 1.4 billion people. Out of that, 960.3 million people, they represent at least 79.8% of the country's population. You can say 80% of the country's population. So India contains, it seems, 94% of the global Hindu population. Such a huge Hindu. And what does it mean by Hindu? Hindu means Vedic following, people who follow the Vedas. And a lot of them have been westernized and polluted in different ways by the Mughal ruling, by the British ruling, mostly by the British ruling and the Western philosophy and everything. Today, you have modern Hinduism being practiced. And it is very similar to the secular Western world. We want to be like that. But actually, India is supposed to be one of those religiously ruled countries. If you go to Arab countries, they're all religious, they're not secular. It's only some few countries that are actually secular. Most of them are moving towards secularism and democracy and everything. So if you look at the history, when it became secular, you will see the collection of taxes and institution of laws according to the state. There is central government law, there is state law in India. And you'll see the so-called secular thing is very difficult to practice in India because there are not only one nation with so many Hindus, but there are so many minorities which are quickly becoming majorities in many states. For instance, in Kerala, slowly, Muslims and Christians together are almost becoming 50%. Hindus have become 50%, 52% they are now, very soon. So in the rest of the world also, you'll see Muslims are becoming increasingly common. So many things are happening in this world. In a secular world, you can't say no to any religion. And so the minority religions are taking advantage. And Hindus are prominent only in India, Nepal, and maybe some other few places here and there, Bangladesh, Pakistan, some Hindus are there. That's all. Hindu is concentrated around these areas, Ceylon. But the rest of the world is filled with Christians and Muslims. So when you speak about this example, collecting taxes, they will collect taxes, but they'll give it back to people only in the form of sense gratification. That is the problem. Each leader is talking about how I will give you sense gratification and getting votes. In fact, they give directly to people bribes. I heard here they gave everybody a bottle to drink and they give money. Come and attend the big gathering here, DMK party, AIDMK party, whatever it is. So, but sense gratification is promised, people will vote for you. This is a sign of ignorance. People are not educated voters. If people are educated in Krishna consciousness, whom do you think they'll vote for? So you can understand what's happening. These type of people will collect the taxes and give it back to you for sense gratification. And sense gratification means all sorts of bad practices also will be there side by side. So there'll be bribing, there'll be corruption. If you go to the government offices, you always have to pay money to get even the normal things. So things have changed completely. There's no king. Monarchy was far, far better than democracy. Because democracy, you have to rely on these type of people who sometimes are characterless, who don't believe in God. Even if they believe in God, their party will not believe in God for the sake of votes. And they'll involve themselves in politics with religion and politico-religious groups. And it's all a big mess. So this tax chakra cannot be followed to such a great extent. To some extent. That is why Bhakti Vinodha Swami Prabhupada has come and with this understanding, because he writes his commentaries and he has a vision of the whole world being ruled by Krishna consciousness. He said, if we chant Hare Krishna, if we educate people in Krishna consciousness, from India it will go all over the world. People are already in different parts of the world chanting Hare Krishna, the Western people, everybody. And then there'll be a huge upsurge And in that upsurge of things happening, you will see that people will take up Krishna consciousness, and you will have amazing result in the form of what Prabhupada is saying here. Don't think I'm saying all these things. You don't think that, oh, this type of logic is fit for some other time. It's not meant for us now. Don't think like that. The same thing will happen in a modern setup also. People will become Krishna conscious, and they're happy to donate the money for people's Krishna consciousness. Today in ISKCON, say we are building a huge temple. We're building it out of donations given by many people, because the tax chakra is not there. So we call people and say, we're preaching, we're like this, oh, I like you very much, I'm joining regularly in all your programs, I'll give you a donation. They give you a donation, and in this way, they give the money. Many congregational devotees and many nice Hindus, they support the cause, they take part, they like ISKCON. They give the money directly, it's not the government giving. And we build up temples, educational centers, look after their children, look after themselves, and spreading Krishna consciousness. And this will widen and widen and widen. And the influence will become so much that finally some devotees will stand for election and occupy positions and then pass laws gradually. The government will gradually be filled with people who are Krishna conscious, because everybody understands these values and how they are important for society. Then you can imagine what will happen. This is the vision of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I wanted to share it with you. You know, this is the vision of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. If you read his books, especially this Light of the Bhagavata, you will find out that this is what he's trying to do. And he's planted the seed for it. He's planted the seed. And Prabhupada said, this will last for 10,000 years, this movement. So, it's so realistic to me when I do the broader study and understanding. What is secularism? I actually happen to study it. And Prabhupada knows all these things and is designed and crafted it on the basis of what the previous acharyas have said. So this thing about chakra, tax chakra I'm talking about, and this analogy of clouds, evaporation of water, held by the clouds, and then the clouds pouring rain back to the citizens, which Prabhupada is so brilliantly explaining, is a doable thing. It's going to happen. It will happen. If we all chant Hare Krishna, we all introduce everybody to chanting of the holy name, we all introduce everybody to Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad philosophy, the souls are all ready to take it. So everybody should join together and make the world God conscious, not secularism. It's simply complete nonsense. People don't know how the problems of the world will be solved. It is never going to be solved without resorting to God consciousness. You will never do it. You will never be able to do it. So in the same light of the Bhagavat, you'll see a brilliant quote by Prabhupada, wherein he is requesting, you'll see this, I'm reading that quote, in this age of a godless civilization, the sages of world-recognized religious sects who believe in God must come out of their secluded places and preach the signs of God, the supreme will, to the people in general. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and the members of other sects that have convincing faith in the authority of God must not sit idly now and silently watch the rapid growth of a godless civilization. There is the supreme will of God, and no nation or society can live in peace and prosperity without acceptance of this vital truth. The warning is already there, and responsible leaders of religious sects must meet together and form a common platform of a league of devotees of the Lord. Right? This is Prabhupada speaking. I find it very exciting. It's so practical. Prabhupada is giving a beautiful solution, and he's saying it can be implemented, and this is what he should do. And he has already embarked on that mission. It's already gone and shown around the world in just 11 years' time that, see, we can do, people will accept. The people are all hungry for knowing God and Krishna consciousness. Don't believe these leaders. Right? So we have a great job at hand. Don't just read these verses thinking that, oh, very nice, rain will fall, money will come in the rain, and then it will evaporate, it will go as clouds. But I will go ahead and do my job every day, pay my taxes, and I'll continue my life. It's got relevance to you. You should preach Krishna consciousness. You should take this message to everybody whom you know, as many people as possible. And as much as you do, this world will change. That's the way it's going to change. Because when you do this type of change, Krishna will be in it. He will make the change happen. Because he wants it. You see, God-assisted change is this ISKCON movement. If you work in it, according to Prabhupada's saying, it's going to happen. I am very clear, very confident, this is going to happen. In a few 100 years, it will start happening. There will be devotee leaders, there will be chief minister, prime minister, everything. And you will see that people will start slowly saying, this should be done, this should be done, and it will happen. It's just a matter of time. If the Christians and the evangelists together in 1492, Columbus set sail. Isabella, the Queen of Spain, actually sent him. And Alexander Pope, his name was Alexander then, he gave blessings to Christopher Columbus. And he sailed and he went to America. And what did they want to do? Pope told him, you have to preach and convert everybody to Christianity. Right? And Isabella wanted other places for ruling and discover places. We can conquer them. And this way he went, he found America. In 1 year's time, he got a letter from Alexander Pope. I understand you're very happy, you've discovered America and everything, but our real place to go is India. It's a large, huge influence on the whole world. And the Indians are idol worshippers. They worship many gods. They are heathens. They should be converted. Then from then onwards, they actually spread Christianity, colonized the world to make it all one religion, one economy, to control everybody together. And they have come this far. Christianity is the largest following in the world of faith. Christianity is the most followed religion in the world. Highest, I think, some huge percentage, a very huge percentage. I don't remember memory exactly, but you can Google it and see. And they were able to do something that is adharmic, actually. Originally, it was God, and then over a period of time, they turned out to be colonizers and this and that and practicing evangelism. And then Islam. All of them are religions at one point of time, but now they've become just political groups wanting power over nations, this and that. They've changed to something else completely. So you can imagine that this model that Prabhupada is saying, don't think that it won't work. If the right rulers come on top, they will make sure that the citizens get Krishna consciousness. They will collect taxes. They will start helping education, building of temples, making compulsory following Ekadashi. All that Prabhupada written in the Bhagavatam, how you should rule. When you come to power, how you should rule is already written in the purport. I was very surprised. What is he trying to tell? When devotees become kings, this is what they should do. He's written. He's all written a plan. And that's why he said, my program is for 10,000 years. So I'm very amazed at the vision of Prabhupada. And what is mentioned in the scriptures, it is also mentioned that in Kali Yuga, this will happen, Sankirtana moment, and it will last for 10,000 years before Kali will fully take force. So I just wanted you to tell that don't think these things are just some graphic information on the tax collection and things like that. When Prabhupada writes it, he's seeing a future. And he means it. He believes in it. And he told us, if you simply chant Hare Krishna and spread this movement according to the tenets of Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, you will see people will become Krishna conscious. So this is a golden age for us. for Lord Chaitanya's followers. Whole world is going to become Krishna conscious. We may not live to see it, but we may be born again if we don't perfect our life in this, and we may live to see some portions of it. Right? So I just wanted to tell you this in comparison and with a full background and history of it. You are following Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he has got a solution for the whole world. And he has boldly propounded it, and he's written about it in his books, and he has said it will happen. Because Lord Chaitanya is behind it, Harinam Sankirtan will spread, and this tax chakra will happen. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Right. Any questions? Or comments? Yes, Vivek.
Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the nice enlightening class, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have one doubt, Maharaj, that you said nicely about the tax chakra.
Those who are
previously,
speaking should put on their video.
Yes, Maharaj. So,
Yeah.
you have explained tax chakra. So we have previously heard about Srila Rupa Goswami's teachings, like how he had given his 50% of income
Yes.
to the Krishna consciousness. So can this be applicable in this age of
Definitely,
Yuga,
I'll give you our bank
is it
account.
possible for the griders?
Immediately you can transfer the money. What do you mean in this particular age? Of course we can. And even today it's being done. That's how the ISKCON movement is spreading all over the world. The Christian faith is spreading all over. The Muslim faith is spreading. All of them are supported by their congregations and devotees. It's already going on. Definitely going on. Why can't you do it in this age? I mean, you're asking questions whether it's possible, but it's already going on. No doubt. Yeah. Who else? Your question is just that, no? Whether it will go on in this age.
No. Yes, Maharaj. I just asked this.
Yeah, it is going on already, I'm saying. It's definitely applicable. Rupa Goswami did it, and it's still going on according to that. Many wonderful devotees are doing devotional service by earning money and contributing to the Krishna consciousness movement and spreading Krishna consciousness. That's how it's going. All grahasthas are supposed to do that. Yes, Divya Rupa Nitai Das, you have raised your hands.
Maharaj, just one small doubt. Not doubt. I would like to know throw some lights. You usually used to tell this point, like Prabhupada's like when he was bedridden, the last video, and he used to tell him, Maharaj. You also mentioned several times. So like 50% of my work is done. The remaining 50% is there. If you can tell more, it will be nice, Maharaj. That's small request. That's all.
Well, Prabhupada said that Varnashrama Dharma should be introduced, Daiva Varnashrama. And he said that will sustain our movement further. People need it. And so that's like a clear Vedic model. Of course, with God in the center of it. So that's the way common people will understand and melt into it and function. And it is a system. It's got a structure. Scientific. So Prabhupada said this in this way, we'll be able to very nicely govern people and give them Krishna consciousness. So he said that portion of it requires quite some work, and that needs to be done. That's all I can say about it, because that's a very huge topic.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
So Gopal Krishna Karuna.
Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, my question is, it's from my colleague's question. So because now recently the Hindus are attacked by many of the. So there is just simply asking that as an organization or institution, what is your contribution as a spiritual organization? I saw some of the organization from the politician party like Bajrangis or that BJP team. They are just supporting, going and doing some field work. As a spiritual organization, what is your contribution to protect this our whole Sanatanis, like that they're asking. So for them, I would just addressed very lightly up to my knowledge. So if you tell some more points, it will be useful, Maharaj.
Well, in the context of today's discussion, we're speaking about governance and about the right and power that a government or a king will have. Using that power, he should do good for the people, protect dharma, and have them all perform a religious activity with God in the center. And that is a duty of a government head. So all these government officials are elected by the people for the sake of protecting us. But I also explained that people are not educated, so they know how to vote and how to select. And all they know is, I must get a job, I must get a sense gratification. For that, money is required, and for money, very important thing is job. The whole agitation in Bangladesh is about job. It started with. And that has been politicalized by some political groups and all that, and some other types of things have happened. So at the heart of all the unrest is my difficulty in having sense gratification. That's the thing. But that is wrong. And that is wrong. That's why a godless civilization will have severe problems like this. Many, many are going to come. Whole world is filled with problems. There's Ukraine war going on for so long. 1 year, the war is going on. They're killing people on both sides. And then there's the other side, some other thing going on, all sorts of riots, all sorts of problems. Then there are natural disasters. So many things are happening. It's not a peaceful thing at all. And that's because people don't keep God in the center. There's one simple thing they don't understand. Instead, they say religion has been the problem. Well, Vedic religion has never been the problem so much as the Christian religion and the Muslim religion and all of them all over the world in the Western society. So if you ask a question, what are you doing to protect the religion? We are teaching people what is really religion, first of all. That's the first thing to be done. And then in the future, maybe we'll be able to train people to be Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas. And then the society will be protected by the Kshatriyas. So Kshatriya is required, and where violence is required, violence should be instituted. It's foolish to say it should be non-violent. I have to protect my community of people. So many times devotees have said, if you're attacked like this, like they're attacked in Bangladesh, some of them were discussing that I think we should have our own police force. We should be able to protect ourselves because the government cannot do anything in that place or won't do anything. And maybe even in India, after your attack, they may do something a little bit. But, things can happen. It looks like in this world, as things move ahead, we have to work out our own way of doing things. We have to get our own food, cultivate our own food, have our own Kshatriyas protect us. Because Kali Yuga, when it moves like that, it will become like that more and more. Become wild. Maybe we have to do that. He is right that we have to do something to protect our people first. We have to protect our people first. Then, if we are in the ruling government, then we can do something to protect. Power is required to do something for people. So, power means everybody knows to be in the government, in the ruling government. So, there are people with good intentions in the ruling government. There are people with bad intentions in the ruling government. Right? So, if they are trained in some way and they know how to do good to people, say the BJP government is doing to some extent some things good for people. They're preserving temples, they're reviving this, they're reviving that, and doing things simultaneously doing. That's the beginning of a good thing. Of course, there are many other forces that will challenge and do many things. So basically, how to do it? We need power. And as I predicted to you in the context of what we discussed today, power we can get, we should all become Krishna conscious, spread it more and more. And then lots of people will say, and then you stand for election, and then they all vote for you, we'll get a seat, and from there onwards we can start. I think this is necessary. To make the whole world Krishna conscious, you have to be in power. Right? So that's why I'm saying start preaching, so that you'll get votes. Right. So here it is, Viresh Kondapaneni is written. So I have three connective doubts here. Number one, so a king have to make people understand about Krishna consciousness, but when it comes to Duryodhana, he itself don't know about Krishna consciousness, but still he went to heavenly planet along with Pandavas because he lost in war. I think you're confused many things together, and I can understand. I'll answer the question number one. Question number one, Duryodhana was a demon. Definitely. He was against Krishna. And he worked against the Pandavas. So, Duryodhana is a warrior. He fought bravely. And he followed certain Kshatriya rules. For that, he will get benefit. But for opposing devotees and opposing Krishna and doing those things, he will get necessary destination also. It will be a combination of all these things together. So, if he goes to heavenly planet, so what? Heavenly planet is here in the material world only. Some little punya he had, he will finish it and he'll go back to hell. Don't worry, he has more sinful things, maybe. And he has also got some punya stuff because he was known to be a good king. He did look after the citizens to some extent, but he didn't teach them Krishna consciousness. He had his own man-made dharma, maybe. And he was interested in promoting himself. So there are all sorts of people with all sorts of desires. I don't think it's as straightforward as you think. It doesn't mean if you go to heavenly planet, it's a great place. Right? In the material world, living here in Coimbatore in the Ukadam slums is very bad. So you can come out of Ukadam slums and go to Sarvanampatti. Nice buildings are there. But you're still in Coimbatore. Totally, it is also a dirty place in many different ways. Just shifting from one colony to the other doesn't mean there's a great thing. So in the material world, if you go from Earth planet to heavenly planet, it's not a big thing. You're still inside the material world. That's a big problem, actually. That's a huge problem. So you don't seem to see that Krishna consciousness means nothing to do with the material world. Krishna is giving you a place in the spiritual world where you belong, and forever you'll go there. It's not to be compared with anything in the material world. That's the answer to the first question. Number two, so the second doubt is, why did they go to heaven or Swarga Loka and the Pandavas took heavenly demigod positions? Why did they go to heavenly planets instead of Goloka? At least Arjuna should be going. I say, oh, really? You got a lot of concern, I understand. But the Pandavas, to give you a short answer, the Amsha of the Pandavas that belong to the heavenly planets, only those Amshas went. But Arjuna is an eternal devotee of the Lord. He went back to Godhead also. Plus, there is a portion of him that Indra's, he went to heavenly loka. That is understood like that there. So these great personalities, they are not one person alone. They are Amshas of Indra, Arjuna, plus he is an eternal Narahari, Naranarayana Rishi, along with this thing. He has got that aspect, and that is the main aspect. So it's mentioned that Swargarohanam, it is mentioned, those aspects of the Pandavas that were, they were born out of demigods, isn't it? Devatas, by Kunti associating with them. So that aspect went back to the heavenly planet. But their original aspect as being supreme personalities, permanent servants, they went back to Godhead, and that is the main aspect. So it's a little complicated. There are amshas of different types, and that is explained by our acharyas. Number three, so if Duryodhana and all are going to heavenly planets, like a king who had even disrespect to Supreme Personality, when he is on the earth, went to heaven and is enjoying, should we think in Lord's mercy or mistake? It's just punya. Whatever little punya they've done, he's fought in the war following Kshatriya rules, so he got some good karma. He'll go enjoy that, dance with Ramba, Kilotama, Menaka, drink some Somarasa, and very soon he'll be demoted and deported to the hellish planets afterwards. He will continue here. He'll be located in A-class jail for some time. Then he will go to B-class jail and he'll go to Z-class jail after that. That's all. It's all in the jail only happening. Okay, Viresh, I hope that's useful. Any other question or comment? Okay, good night. Don't vote for secularism. Vote for a God-conscious country. Vote for a God-conscious world. And this is the duty of Krishna-conscious devotees following Srila Prabhupada's movement. Please preach Krishna consciousness to your friends, to your relatives, to your neighbors, to your acquaintances, and give them the chance to become Krishna conscious. While you're alive, you could do that. That will be the greatest welfare work you can do. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Sweet dreams of Krishna. Good night.